Hi, hey, how are you doing?
Hey, how you?
I am fabulous. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I
Absolutely.
I have really enjoyed watching your videos with your family, and I'm really excited to have you here so we can learn a little bit more about Miss ShantaQuilette. So, if you don't mind introducing yourself to the people.
Hey, everybody, how y'all doing? I am glad to be here. Thanks for the invite. I am Dr. ShantaQuilette Carter Williams. I am a creative mastermind. I am a mother, a wife, a grandmother, a friend. I'm also a nationally recognized heart and women's health advocate, ambassador for American Heart Association, Black Heart Association. I'm also a content creator, stand-up comedian, and retired government employee. I was a forensic accountant and revenue officer for the IRS. I am also a stroke and two-time stroke and heart attack survivor. I talk about everything wellness. I also have a brand called Girl Be Natural, which caters to the three P's: perimenopause, PMS, and postpartum, for women who are estrogen resistant or just want to handle things a natural way.
I love that, and I need to hear more about that because I swear I'm going through perimenopause right now. So, hopefully, you can educate us on that because I be burning up and nothing seems to cool me off and just different stuff. But we will get to that. So Miss Chantaquilette, so you are like a Renaissance woman. You have, like you just said, like you worked for the IRS, you have your own brand, you have like there's so much that you have going on right now. Where did it begin with you? Where are you from?
I was born in a small town in East Texas called Henderson, Texas, Cherokee County. I left there when I was about, I believe, 6 months old. I was raised in Denver, Colorado. So we went there after I probably turned 6 months. My parents got married, moved to Denver, and I was in Denver for the next 21 years up until the time I moved to Texas, which was in 2001.
Okay, okay. So you grew up in Denver. What was that like? I don't think I've ever met anybody from Denver.
I never met anybody from Denver.
I
Denver
honestly
is
haven't.
a very amazing, progressive city. I had an amazing childhood in Denver. Grew up in a predominantly Black neighborhood called Montbello. Probably 90. My high school was probably 98% Black,
Oh wow.
uh, but absolutely amazing. The one thing I like to say about Denver versus Texas is that, when I came to Texas, I really hadn't experienced any, overt or subtle racism in Denver. I grew up where most of my teachers were Black, uh, police officers I knew were Black, our mayor was Black.
Wow.
Uh, so, so I grew up, where Black people were really thriving, and most of the individuals I went to school with, parents were, doing quite well for themselves.
I love that. And I'm glad
Yeah.
that you explained it like that because that's again the reason why, I said like I don't think I've ever really met too many black people anyway, from Denver. So the only thing I think
There's a lot of Black people in Denver.
I would
Probably not as much as it was when I was growing up, but it was very, 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 very Black, especially the neighborhood I grew up in.
what's some of the things that like some sites and stuff to see in Denver? Because that's actually a really good idea because a lot of us haven't been.
No, of course, the mountains, of course. I mean, that's going to be the biggest
Yeah.
attraction is the mountains. As far as food wise, I know Mexico, like New Mexico is right next to Colorado.
Mhm.
So one of the staples of of Denver is the smothered burrito
Okay.
and green chili smothered burrito. So if you have not had a burrito until you've had a green chili smothered burrito, I mean with the lettuce and tomato and the cheese and the tomatillo sauce and the green chili sauce, it's absolutely amazing. So if you ever go to Denver, go to Sam's number 3 and
Sam.
get you a smothered burrito. Yeah.
Okay. So as of right now, Denver is like the best place for Mexican food, in your opinion, or the
Oh, I
best place.
mean Mexico. It's probably gonna be Mexico, but
Okay.
but as far as I'm concerned, like Texas only has Tex-Mex, and I could not
Yeah.
compare. I could not compare Texas Mexican food to Denver. It's like
Night
low
and day.
tier.
Okay. Okay. So tell me, because you are so funny, you are the funny TikTok mom and all that. Like, how did that come about? Like, were you always funny growing up?
I've always been funny. I've always
Okay.
been funny. Yeah, since I can remember, and since people have been telling me, I've always been funny. I grew up in a household where people were pretty humorous. My dad is funny. I grew up with funny uncles.
Hmm.
So primarily, my the space that I grew up in was very humorous and witty. I I grew up just falling in love with Carol Burnett and
Oh,
Benny Hill, and I used to watch all those shows. Hee Haw,
I remember
the
you.
Carol Burnett, Carol Burnett
Yes.
show, Living Color.
Absolutely.
I was one of the shows, Kids in the Hall, Tracy Ullman, all of those individuals I used to watch. I used to come home from school and watch Tracy Ullman's show on
Love
HBO.
her. Yes. I
So
thought I was
yeah,
the only Black person that watched that because, like, she
no,
was hilarious. Her
she was
skits were
hilarious, especially
amazing.
her skits and her
Yes.
character playouts are absolutely amazing. So yeah, so I just grew up, watching those individuals, and then as I got older, I had a brother that passed away, and comedy was something that I used as a healing process because we had a lot of mental health issues, me and my sister and my family after that, and
Mhm.
so comedy was something I relied on. And then I came about a comedian named George Carlin, who I
Mhm.
absolutely fell in love with because the way his social commentary and the way he just used comedy to talk about real life topics,
Mhm.
which is very intriguing to me as a young adult, especially when he talked about death and just realizing that it's something that we all must face
Yeah.
and finding a way to laugh at it versus being depressed, because mortality is a serious conversation because you can't, that's something you can skip out on. We got a
Yeah.
lot of choices in life, but that's one of the only choices that we don't have
Yeah.
any decision making in. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's but I just had a love for comedy. uh it wasn't something in the household that we really was really thought of to make money. Like
Right.
you can graduate high school, be a comedian, and make a lot of money. So it wasn't really a huge focus for me. So I was a uh, teen mother, and I ended up not going to a traditional university because I ended up being pregnant. So I went into cosmetology, did cosmetology for about 2 to 3 years, decided that's not really what I wanted to do, even though I was good at it.
Mhm.
It was not my passion. And so at that time I was actually working at an insurance firm, and there was a comptroller that was actually in that office that was like, "Hey, have you ever thought about getting an accounting?" And it wasn't something that I had thought about
Mhm.
before, but all the companies and organizations that I started working at throughout the years were always number based.
Mhm.
And so I went to Regis University, got a 4-year degree in accounting, and got a undergrad. Got a minor in finance, and then I decided to get my MBA, and so I got my MBA with the emphasis in forensic accounting. Once I started with the agency IRS back in 2007.
ShantaQuilette is a smarty. Oh my goodness. You've been working with numbers forever. Okay, I love that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So how did you go from there to comedy? Because
So not intentional. It
okay.
was not intentional. It was not intentional at all. What I call is a Godcidental. I call it Godcidental.
Mhm. We love those.
I was working for the IRS, loved my job, was not something that I complained about, did not hate going to work. My husband, when I used to come home from work, my husband was like, "You must really love your job because all you do is talk about your job when you get home." Because I was in collections, I was in
Okay.
auditing and collections. So I came across people
All
on a
kind of
daily
stuff.
basis, different
Yeah.
personalities, different incidents, funny, sad,
All kind of
horrific,
situations.
all the adjectives you could think of, right? And so at that time I was also which I still do have, a nonprofit, Pink Peppermint Project,
Mhm.
where we provide resources for women
Breast
who
cancer.
have breast cancer and and their caregivers. And so I was doing that. I was, doing that, might as well say full time while I was working my job. And my health started declining during that time of between 2000, I think 2012 up in 2008 up until I think I'm saying that right. I believe it's 2012 up until 2019. It was an 8-year span where I was going back and forth to the doctor talking about different health issues I was having, palpitations, shortness of breath, and all these things that were actually being dismissed.
Was that just out
And
of the blue? Did they just kind of come to
yeah,
you?
it just happened out of the blue. I was actually running on a treadmill. I was running on a treadmill and started feeling a fluttering in my chest. And I kept running,
How
felt
old
the
were you?
flutter. At that time, I want to say I was 32.
Oh, wow, you were very young.
Yeah. So I had the fluttering, got back on the treadmill, started running again, and went to the doctor. They immediately sent me to a cardiologist. I got a stress test. I didn't get any more than a stress test. I was induced with, I was diagnosed, not induced, I was diagnosed with cardio, exercise induced atrial fibrillation. And so, meaning that I couldn't really exercise at the capacity I wanted to because of my heart rate.
Right.
So I totally kind of stopped working out, right? Because I was scared of what I was feeling. But at the same time, even without working out, I was still having symptoms. So my husband was taking me back and forth to the hospital.
Was it
I'm still working. Go ahead.
I was about to say, was it hard to trust your body during that time? Were you scared? Like
Oh
anything?
yeah, definitely.
Like,
It was a lot of stress. It's a lot of stress when you feel like when you know something is going on with you
yeah,
and you don't have the proper way to articulate it, and there's someone in the arena of knowledge
yeah,
who knows more and should know more and better, tells you something different. It's kind of like, what do I do?
yeah.
And there was one of those instances where my doctor did say, oh, when I was kind of attempting to diagnose myself, to say what I thought, because I was Googling and reading what I thought may be going
You
on.
on WebMD?
Yeah, WebMD. And he really was like, oh, aren't you an accountant?
Yeah.
Like, focus on numbers. This not your arena. This not your lane. That was basically his stance.
Oh,
And so I just went along with that. I went along with that and tried to make the accommodations and the accommodations that he set for me to say, hey, this is why this might be happening. Then I worked, for the IRS, and they're like, oh, now, you're working a high paced, fast, stressful
absolutely.
job, all these different things. Right. And so ultimately what happened is I ended up having a heart attack coming hours after leaving work and having a stroke on the job.
Oh my gosh.
So I had a stroke on the job in 2019 and never went back to work. That was 2019. Never went back to work. Was
Oh,
put
this
on
is
leave.
recent. This is literally like pandemic era. Okay.
Yeah. So in
Wow.
2019, had a stroke at work, and then I was just put on leave because I was healing. And in the interim of that, uh, my kids who were also off, COVID came into play, and so the kids weren't going to school; they were at home. And my daughter, who is now 21, and my son, who is now 18, asked me to participate in TikTok. Did I want to do some TikTok videos? Because before, what I was doing on Instagram was I was, blogging too. In 2013, I had started a fashion blog called Style Follows Her. So I was doing Style Follows Her. So I was just posting pictures in fashion and taking pictures and talking about all things beauty. Got on TikTok with my son and my daughter one evening, did a skit, some kind of skit that they came up with that was trending. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. And so we started doing more of them. I started doing more with them. Then my husband started doing them with us. And we just enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed it. And so I was like, hey, I want to download this app on my phone. And I downloaded the app. And first I was just strictly a watcher. I was just a watcher, looking at what everybody was doing. And then I really got inspired. And one of my girlfriends was like, you are funny, you are hilarious. You should do some of that on TikTok. Because first, like I was like talking about my nonprofit, I was cooking, I like cooking, so I was just doing everything. And I was like, one day I came from therapy and I was like just really sad and depressed because of just, my life had just changed overnight. Like, I went to work one day, I went to work and okay, and then couldn't work anymore. So the fate of my job was up in the air. My cognitive ability
Mm.
was was declining. I, I just wasn't the person that I thought I should be in that moment, and did not know where life was taking me, right? And so I did that video. I did a video, came home, did a video. It's the video, my most viral video,
Mm.
me without my wig. I did that. I did that
Whose idea
video.
was that?
That was actually literally coming. I literally was coming. I came home from therapy. Literally
Mhm.
came home from therapy. If you actually look at the video, you can see that I've been crying. My eyes were watering. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna tell this story. Because everything that I said in that video was actually what I was feeling when I was like, her hair was fragile, she was out of shape, all those things I was describing myself, how I felt in the moment. And the reason why I brought the school into it is because I remember when I was in the second grade, my mom had to come to school and bring me some amoxicillin. And my mom was a very bright, beautiful woman. But that day, baby, she was far from what I thought was beautiful that day when she came to my school, and she had this ski mask. She had like a ski mask on and she like pulled it off because it had been snowing. Had been like a blizzard in Denver. And she came and she had pulled it up and she was all red and her nose was all red. And the first thing I remember, this guy named Anthony was like, whose mom is that? Like, and
Mind
I
your
was like,
business, Anthony.
and I was like, not mine. That's my auntie. I was like, I'm like, that's my aunt. And I combined that and told that story.
Mhm.
And by the end of the week, it was like 12 million views. Steve Harvey, Ellen, all these people were sharing it. And so I was like, wow. And so at the same time, people were reaching out saying, I thought that was going to be a terrible story. I thought it was going to be a sad story. But you made my day. I had the biggest outburst. I had the biggest laugh that I've ever had in a long time. And just
Yeah.
all these people just resonating with what that did for them. And they
What does
started
that do
asking
for
for more.
you when people say that? What does that do to you?
Well, I know I'm answering my calling. I
Mhm.
know that I'm doing what God has destined me to do. At first it was something it seemed very unconventional. I was older.
Mhm.
Then people were reaching out to me, asking me was I writing these things? Are you writing these, or how are you, coming up with these? And you should, take this on the stage, and you should, do all these things. And I knew that my gift was making room for me. I could actually see what every space that I've ever been in, even in a professional space, I've always been funny. I've always been laughing.
Mhm.
Even probably, I consider myself a dark humor comedian.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff that I find, others might find gruesome. I
Something.
find
Yeah.
endearingly. I just find it endearingly appropriate. But I still laugh at it, and so. Uh, just knowing that I can benefit someone with just 2 minutes or 15 seconds of me
Yeah.
makes me feel great, because that is something that was put into me, nothing that I not something I to chose to be, but what God gave me. And so now I've found, I can build a huge corporation just off of laughter and wellness, because the two are intertwined.
And it's so honest too, because we need laughter. We need humor because even like you said, in those dark moments when you're going through grief, when you're going through whatever you're going through, sometimes we get to thinking, I ain't gonna never laugh again. I'm not gonna ever laugh again.
Yeah.
And it is so needed. It really is. So I appreciate you for doing that and just being obedient and just going into, following into your purpose. Like you said, just making people laugh, whether how big or how small it is. That's a beautiful
Right.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah. And just being my authentic self, just
absolutely.
not having to, code switch, or not having to
Come
put
on,
all
code
these
switch. Yes.
pulling all these layers off of
Yeah.
me, and not just being, just not being authentic to myself and being authentic to my audience.
And I think that also speaks to, like you said, just your purpose and everything. When you are walking in it, being able to be yourself naturally, your authentic self, it just flows freely. So
Yeah.
it's like it just shows up, and it makes it that much easier. Let me ask you, have you been noticed in your area? Like, do people in your area recognize you from videos like?
I In my area at the airport, there's not been a city outside of just going to Mexico,
Uh-huh.
uh, where I haven't been recognized or someone hasn't been like, hey, a lot of times people will just say, and I won't even say anything. I won't even, let them know where they know me from
Mhm.
in most cases. But a lot of times people will stare at me
Like,
because
you
it's a
look
familiar
familiar.
face. Or some people will say,
Oh,
come up to
okay.
me and say, I've seen your face somewhere. I don't know why you look so familiar to me.
I
And then
love
I'll
it.
sometimes I'm like, maybe it's social media. And they'd be like, that's exactly, you got a son. And that's what
So they recognize Addison. Okay.
yeah.
How's your family been? Like, I don't know if it's newfound fame, but how has that been for the family?
Everybody enjoys it. Everybody enjoys it. My husband, he participates at first, he was
He
a
is
little
hilarious.
he was skeptical at first, but because you going in a new arena, and
Hmm.
when you've worked a traditional job for
Yeah.
most of your life and you're trying to go into something unconventional, it's like, okay, is this really gonna work?
Yeah.
And then a lot of people would say the odds are against me because oh, I'm disabled, she's old, she's this, all these different things, which basically was just all those things actually sent me in upward trajectory,
Right.
to show that you at any stage of your life, and no matter what you're going through or what you've been through, you can push through and persevere. So it was the resilience aspect for me, is being able like to say, I'm not going to let this hold me down. And when they saw how passionate I was about what I did, regardless of what anybody said, even outside, even outside noise that was like, hey, is this what you should be doing?
Mhm.
All these different things. But everybody supported, my son and my daughter, they got me started. So they've been there from the beginning. And now it's my grandson now that when he comes over, he's like, can I do a TikTok? Can I do a TikTok? My nephew, who is 22 years old, asked me that yesterday. Like, hey, you want to do a TikTok? He said, are you going to do any more TikToks? I said, why, you want to be in one? He's like, yeah. So I'm like, am I y'all clout? Do I bring y'all clout? What's going on? I want to know. And it's all good if you do, because I want to appeal to everyone. I
Right.
know everybody's not my audience, but I
Yeah.
want to be able to appeal to all demographics,
Yeah.
where a family could sit down in the living room and everybody can enjoy what I offer.
Yeah. So are you doing comedy right now? Are you doing any comedy shows?
I have been doing stand up. I have My last stand up show was in October.
Okay.
I had one set for this March, but we, for whatever reason, we couldn't fulfill it. But I do corporate comedy. So as far as stand up in the clubs, I haven't done since October, but I do have some shows in New York, some stand up shows next month, for the Black Women's Comedy Fest,
I love that.
in Harlem. So I'll be doing that. But I do corporate comedy, and then I just launched a startup called Laughter on the Go.
I read about
And
that. I love that. Yes. What that is,
yeah,
you are so smart. When I tell you, like, just thinking about different things, because we just had something with our we had to go into the office for work or whatnot, and just thinking about different things that companies do when they're bringing everybody together. That is absolute, like, that they
well, I
absolutely
have my day,
look.
girl, and I can give it to you, and you can give it to your
Please,
job.
please, listen, I will absolutely pass that along to them. Like, we need stuff like that because that boosts morale. You know what I'm saying?
It boosts. That's the whole idea: boost
Yeah,
morale, increase productivity,
yeah,
um, keep retention at bay, and relieve stress, because I had my stroke on the job. And so, me coming from the good government, the good old
hmm,
government, I seen people who don't walk out, people who die, and people who are so stressed, and they have these overbearing managers, and just all
like
these
crazy.
things. And
Yes,
just realizing that if you are a leader, you can lead with humor. it makes the atmosphere so much better. And
Yes,
in the workplace, humor makes teams more cohesive.
it
You
does.
know, it's more easy to work with someone when you're able to laugh with them and you're able to just let your hair down, because a lot of times people are like, well, I don't, and that's how I used to be when I worked. Like, I don't fraternize with the employees.
Mhm.
I come in and do my job. I want to go home. But I realized like I probably spent more time at work than I did at home with these
Yeah,
people. And these are people that I had to see every day. And, you know, people, there's so much tension in office meetings and things like that. You know, I would just tell a good joke and it would just kind of, you know,
lighten
break
the
everybody
mood.
down and lighten
Yeah.
the mood and loosen everybody up. And so I recently got my first contract last month, and well, this month,
Congratulations.
did my first contract and got the, you know, the reviews from the employees and also the CEO of that company. And they were just like, you know, this is just, it's non-traditional, it's unconventional, but it makes us think out of the box. You know, we
Yes.
had such a good time.
Yeah.
It just felt good, and it made them more comfortable with their manager and showing, because I had the manager do a stand-up set, a 3-minute stand-up set
Okay.
that she had to write. And it just showed her as a leader and showing her actually being able to step out of her comfort zone, which made them just a lot more comfortable
I love that.
than they actually were.
Yeah, it helps people loosen up. I love that. I'm absolutely, yeah, we're gonna talk after this because I need to let them know because we have certain things, but sometimes, you just sometimes you just need to loosen up just a little bit.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
always say it starts at the top, as far as morale goes, like with management and stuff. So the fact that you was able to get somebody in management involved in that, absolutely. So
Yeah,
show her
absolutely.
human
It
side.
works well.
I love that. Are you doing any acting or is that a goal of yours?
Yes, it is. It's actually acting and writing. So me
Okay.
and Addison are working on our first sketch series, uh, which we hope to present on YouTube here real soon. And I just got a an offer for a gig in Atlanta. I just have to read the script,
Mhm.
and once I read the script, then I'll make the decision. But yeah, I really do want to go into uh, acting, especially comedic acting.
Okay. Because I was gonna ask, like, is there a certain genre that you feel like you
Comedy and I love what is it, dark humor, and I
Mhm.
love Southern Gothic. So
Really?
yeah, I love Southern Gothic. I love psychological thrillers. So
Mm.
I would love to be able to sit down one day
Mhm.
with M. Night Shyamalan and be
Mm.
able to co-write with him.
So what's some of your favorite dark movies or dark like you said?
Oh, one. Okay, so I love the movie Devil. That's M. Night Shyamalan.
That's a
I love
I'm familiar with that
I love
scary movie.
Devil.
Mhm.
I loved Storm of the Century, Stephen King. Well, Stephen King and M. Night Shyamalan are my two favorites. So I love the Storm of the Century, The Mist, Firestarter. Um, M. Night Shyamalan just did one. I forgot the name of it, but it was kind of about the end of the world. It came out a couple years ago. It has the wrestler in it.
Oh, okay.
Stand by Me. I love Jordan Peele's too. I love Jordan Peele's movies that he's been doing.
Okay.
So I love them. I love to Get Out. So yeah.
So something like that, you feel like that would be like
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I already have like 4 or 5 stories in my head, and I wrote a story that I told my daughter about when I was 18. And I told them about it, and they was like, "That sounds like it'll be good."
Do any of your family have I know you say you and Addison are working on a skit, but do like your daughter or your husband, are they interested in doing
Oh yeah, they also play characters. Like my
okay.
daughter, I have a daughter that normally shows up in videos, but you only hear her voice. Is my
Mhm.
grandson's mother, and so we've created a character for her where you will never see her; you'll only hear her.
Oh, like Wizard
And
Kelly almost.
yeah, or like wah
Love
wah
that.
wah wah wah. So yeah, they all have specific parts in the series. So yeah, including
That's
my
good.
grandson who is forced into fame, but he doesn't know what he's doing. He
How old is
doesn't
your
know who
grandbaby now?
he's 3.
Okay. I about to say,
And
I'm
he
like,
just did his
how old
first
is he?
video. He just did his first video where he actually was able to lip sync the actual words. So I'm like, we own this something. Oh my God. He
Yes.
always says he wants to do TikTok because I never want to make them do anything they don't want to do. Because there's times where Addison's like, I don't feel like doing no TikTok today, and I'll be like, okay, that's fine. And then when he's ready, he'll come down. He's like, you ready? Okay, because most of our skits that we do, especially the ones where I open the door and walk in the bedroom, those are all improv. Those are not. We
Okay.
don't rehearse those or anything. So when you hear Addison talking, he's coming straight from the head. It's nothing that we practice or anything. I'll just come in and I'll be like, okay, this is what the topic. He's just like, what are we talking about? And I'll tell him, and he'll be like, okay. And then he just goes, we
I
we just
love
flow. Our
that.
energy flows off of each other.
Yeah, I can tell. We can absolutely tell because like it was a video y'all were doing one time where does Addison really be doing that, going through the house playing basketball, like jumping over your head and all of that
He
stuff?
did when he was little. When he was little. So a lot of the stuff that he did that we do now, like when him jumping and running, because he broke his foot when he was like 4.
Wow.
Because you talking about, oh wow, child, he was being Addison, that jumping and stuff. But he did. And it was so funny because when he broke his foot, the doctor only had a brace on it. They had to actually put a cast on it because we thought he was gonna break it
Jump
again
again.
because
Oh my God.
he was still trying to run and jump with the
With a
brace
broken
on.
foot.
Yes, yes. But
Okay.
so he was like that up until the time he got into middle school, and once he got into 8th grade, he kind of got quiet, a little bit
Okay.
more introverted than he was before. But yeah, and then a lot of the stuff that I talked to him about in the videos was basically me playing my mama. So especially like the military and all that kind of stuff. That
Oh
was how
yeah.
my parents talk. That's how my parents talk to me. So I relive a lot of those childhood moments through him.
Yeah, I think which is probably why it's so relatable to so many of us because I grew up in a military family. So like I'm familiar with all of that. But like just when you made the video, it was one day you were talking about like how they kept eating up your snacks. It was almost as if like she got my house tapped because I just had this conversation with my daughter and my son, and I'm like, when did you start liking hummus? When did you start
Well,
liking
yeah,
queso dip?
that's
Like certain
Addison.
things, yeah. So so is Addison, is this his last year in high school? So he already
This is
graduated.
last year in high school. Yeah, he
Okay.
graduates next Sunday.
Okay. Wow. He got any plans? Like after high school or
So he has a business. So he has a business that he's been working on for the past, well, since he's 13 years old. So he
okay.
has a athletic leisure line
Okay.
called Out of Nowhere, and so he's been doing really well with that. I've been really telling him how talented he is as just a performer and an actor,
He's
and
natural.
that
Yeah.
yeah, that he should pursue that. I know he'll be going to college locally here at a community college
Mhm.
just to make sure. All my other daughters, all of them are graduated from college. We just had a daughter graduate last year. I'm not last year, last week from TCU,
Oh wow.
and we have one more daughter in college. And so I realized that college is not for everyone. And Addison is like, yeah, I don't know if it's going to be for me, but
Right.
he knows what he wants to do. So I
Yeah.
said, let's just try. Let's do community college,
Yeah.
and you
I
do
went to
that.
community college. Yeah.
And then he said he would want to transfer to Texas Southern, HBCU in Houston. So that's what we're looking at now,
That's a good school.
and
Okay.
maybe the Air Force if he decides, if he cuts his hair, but he hasn't decided he wanted to do that. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that's holding him back is his hair. He's like, I won't cut my. I can't. I'm not gonna cut my hair. Even when he thought about it, he was like, I don't want to cut my hair. So that's like the thing that's kind of holding him back is.
Like I might go to the Air Force, but I don't think I want to cut these.
Yeah, he might in a couple of years. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
when the trend stops.
Are they? Does he dye his? Because my son is thinking
Yeah,
about dyeing his. Okay.
yeah,
He just
yeah,
started growing his.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um. Okay. So I did have a couple of questions. I want to make sure I'm not holding you too long.
I'm good. I think
Um.
I'm good.
Okay.
I had an
Um.
hour slated.
I did too. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Great. So we will. I might just do one more question, and then I'll just do like maybe 5 little fun questions. Uh,
Okay.
okay. So I'm trying to think because I had so many like detailed questions I wanted to ask you. I didn't want to make it super, super deep, but because you actually have answered a lot of the things that was on my mind.
Mhm.
Um, you know what? I think I want to just skip ahead to the fun questions. We'll just do that because I think as it comes to me, I might just go back to something.
Okay.
Okay, so what was the last thing that you actually like laughed out loud about?
Oh God, is this is this TikTok video? There's a TikTok video where this guy saying someone is reading a scary story, a blind person reading a scary story, and he's reading a scary story, and oh God, it's hilarious. Lord forgive me. It is so hilarious. But he's
I
reading
want
the
to see
book,
it.
and he's like, oh, oh, you know.
He's reading it in braille and he's
He's
freaking
reading
out.
the braille, and he's like, oh God.
I gotta see who that is. I
I
really.
think I have it on my phone. I sent it to my girlfriend, and I was hollering. And
Um,
it's viral because when I try to show everybody in the house, my husband's like, "I seen that," and everybody's like, "I seen it," and we was
oh, I'm gonna
hilarious.
look
I
that
mean,
up. Like blind
hilarious.
ghost story. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, he's reading a scary story, but he's react as he reads deeper into
He's
the into
reacting
the
to it as he's
he keep
reading.
yeah, he's like, oh, it's hilarious. Oh my God, it's hilarious.
That is so funny.
That's the
Okay,
last thing. That's the last thing that I hollered at.
because I can see that, and now I'm getting Stevie Wonder in my head. Oh Lord,
Oh
no.
God, no.
Sorry. Okay, sorry, Stevie. Okay. What's something that you're afraid of? And it can be an animal, it can be close
Oh,
spaces, or being broke. I mean, it can be
no,
anything.
I think it's really not being able to reach my full potential, not being able to live, not being able to do everything that I want to do in life. I think there's so many things that I want to do,
Mhm.
and so um, there's a bit of fear because like I said, time holds no space for anybody. And it doesn't wait for anybody either. And so that's one of the things is just like, am I going to be able to do everything that I want to do? So that's one thing that I'm scared of.
I can totally understand that, and I feel that, especially like now that I feel like I have this strong connection to God where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm really like, I get it now, God, like I'm living for you. And now I'm doing things and you're opening doors for me. And oh gosh, what if my diabetes do something, something, it's
Yeah,
like I
yeah,
want to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing and I don't want my
yeah,
clock to run out, but I ain't gonna worry about that. So I get that. Okay.
yeah.
Um, okay. What's your favorite way to relax?
Ooh, the beach.
Okay.
The beach. I like the beach, and then I like going to this place called Spa Castle. This spa place here in Dallas, and they have like hot rooms and hot jacuzzis, and they do massages and they provide food. So me and my girlfriend, we try to go a couple of times a month
This is in
and
Dallas?
just. Mhm.
Okay, because I was planning on coming to Dallas next month. So I didn't. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. So I like to go there. Other than that, I love to like travel. I like to just get on a plane and go to a destination where there is water and just
Mm.
lay on the beach and drink my mocktail.
What's been your favorite vacation so far?
Turks and Caicos.
Ooh. Now I heard that water is beautiful.
Beautiful. And the food is amazing and the people are amazing.
Oh my gosh. Okay, okay. Turks and Caicos. That's another one for the list. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, you and your family were to go on Family Feud. Who do you feel like would do the best? Who would do the worst? Who would you have to be like, good answer, when you know that that's not a good answer?
I don't know. Because just in my household, my kids are pretty, they all smart.
Okay. Okay.
Addison is really smart and very quick. My husband is very smart. Uh
I like you said
So
Addison is quick too.
it
So
probably, I'd have to say Zaire. I'd have to say my grandson. He's 3.
okay, okay.
But I wouldn't know who I, because everybody is very quick and smart.
Okay.
Yeah. They can think quickly on their feet.
Would you go on Family Feud, or is there another game show you feel
I,
like
I
y'all
tried to apply before. I tried
really?
to apply for it. Yeah. I tried to apply. I didn't, it was a long time ago. It was like before my stroke, but I did try to apply. But I would go on there
I
because
would
I've been
love
watching
to see
Family
y'all
Feud
on there.
since as long as I can
Yeah,
watch it.
yeah. I would love to see y'all on there just to see,
Yeah.
what type of answers everybody gives.
Yeah.
And so, and then the last one, let me see. Okay. How do you want to be remembered?
I just want my joy. She lived a free and joyful life,
Mm,
and she was kind. She was kind no matter how people treated her. She was kind.
mm.
Yeah. So just that I was kind. That I was a kind, giving person, and authentic. Yeah.
I love that. And that really does, in my opinion, especially after speaking to you, it does describe you. Like, you seem very authentic. There's nothing forced about it. And I appreciate the conversation, because this was very helpful. I hope that everybody watching this was blessed as well. Miss ShantaQuilette, we
Y'all
appreciate.
gonna be blessed.
Yes, they are. Um, yeah, so like we appreciate, we appreciate you stopping by and giving us some time here on Favor. We appreciate that so very much. I definitely am going to go back in and watch that Braille video though, because I gotta see it. I gotta see it.
I think you could just type I think you could just say blind and ghost story. I think you could just type blind and ghost story on TikTok and it'll come up.
And that's exactly what I'm
He's
about
a
to.
big, he's a huge creator as well. So
Is he blind for real? For real?
no, I
Oh,
don't think.
okay.
That's why I said, Lord, forgive me.
There was something I saw yesterday. It was very funny, but like, yeah, it's putting me in that frame. But yeah, I want to thank you so much for giving us some time, and we just appreciate everything that you have given us thus far, ma'am. Like, just seeing, sharing your family with us, sharing your story with us, everything. If y'all have not seen her videos, please check them out, which I'm sure everybody has, because you're everywhere. America's favorite TikTok mom, we love you so much. And yeah, this has been Miss ShantaQuilette, and
Thank you. Thank you.
we are just so blessed to have had you here today. So thank you so much, and bye.
Bye.
All right.